This podcast is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find other great shows on the network, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to an episode of Stephen Jarvis and Friends. I'm Stephen Jarvis, and today I'm talking with Mark Bensett Jr. and Brian Salam, right?
Elam.
Yeah.
And they do the podcast Talking Shttt. Granted, they haven't had their debut fucking episode yet, but that'll be on the 10th. And also, remember to go over to the Deluxe Edition Network and look at the podcasts of the month, which is Spoil My Movie and World's True Crime Podcast. So, guys, how are you doing today?
Good.
I'm fantastic.
You're always fantastic.
I'm ugly as hell, but I'm fantastic.
Everybody can see, the shine of your head.
Well, you're welcome for that. Listen, When it starts to go that way, just get rid of it all.
Well, that's what Hulk Hogan should have done a long time ago, but
100% agree. 100% agree.
So, when did you guys come up with the concept of Talking Shttt, the podcast?
Well, to start off with, it was we've been friends for a long time, and been trying to figure out a way of, doing something with him since, he works all the time and haven't really been able to spend a whole lot of time together, being friends for over 30 years. And so a couple months back, I told him I was thinking of starting one, and we were talking, and actually it started off that I was thinking of doing something else instead of a podcast. I was thinking of doing like a murder mystery type dinner theater.
Yeah, I remember that text. Yep.
And then he was like, okay, well, if you want to do it, I'm behind you. I was like, well, you know what? I mentioned the podcast, and he hung up, and then I think it was about 15, 20 minutes later, he called me back and said, hey, look, hey, I'll do the podcast with you. Come on.
Microphone's got a lot of interference there, Mark.
I think your mic's breaking up, Mark.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I shouldn't touch that mic. I was moving the cord in my hand.
Hey, Kyle, how are you doing today? Kyle from Return of the Living Fleet says, hello, or hi, hey, Stephen, Mark, and Brian. Jesus fucking Christ, I swear to God.
Hey, Kyle.
For 3 years.
I don't get to see any of that on my end.
No.
You didn't move it over to
yeah, I got it on comments.
No, not you. He has to move it over on his side, too.
Oh.
But where it says private chat and comments, move it over to comments.
Got it.
You should be able to see it.
So, Brian, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Man, I'm old. I'm wore down. I'm broken. So I spent quite a majority of my life in the military. So yes, me and Mark, we go way back to middle school, high school, middle school, right?
Middle school, 7th grade.
7th grade. I saw this young man walk in to the cafeteria, and I was like, "Why are they letting 3rd graders in here?" I don't know.
Hey,
if
wait a minute.
I was
a 4th. You said 4th graders. Come on.
Okay, 4th grade. Sorry. I don't know if a lot of people know Mark is vertically challenged. So I'm 6'3". Mark is
5'4".
5'4". There you go.
Damn, I'm
but we used to hang out a lot during high school and do all kinds of stuff after high school, and we were the guys drinking out at the power lines. Mark doesn't drink anymore. Congratulations for that, by the way. One day I'll be there, but until then,
17 years.
Good for you, bud. Good for you.
You just had a bush light, by the way.
That's a bud.
Bud, sorry. Oh yeah, duh.
But so spent a majority of my time in the military. Came back. Moved back to Florida recently, back in 2008, 9. Did a couple of things here. I was a deputy sheriff. I worked for Walmart Asset Protection for a little bit. Now I'm in sales, and I absolutely love it. We crush the competition, and we get to. And basically, what I tell people when they ask me, "What do you do for a living?" I tell them that I sell adult toys. It's not true, Steven. It's a play on that the fact that I sell side by sides and four wheelers. So yes, they are adult toys. If you get the gist.
He's been trying to get me to buy one for years, and my wife keeps saying no.
I've been trying to get you to go out with your father-in-law in his side by side. Go to Tennessee, enjoy yourself. You'll find it fantastic. I'm telling you.
Yeah, right now that's on hold.
Gotcha. I understand. So, but that's me. That's me in a nutshell.
So, when picking the name of the podcast, was it just simply, "Hey, talking shit," or was it
No,
different things?
no, that was partially his wife's doing, because he was on the phone with somebody and they were talking, and she was saying, I forget what exactly she said, but she was coming up with something else, and all of a sudden we just started saying talking shit. It was a conversation him and his wife was having at the time, and we were just brainstorming and trying to figure out, talking shit. We had a few other ones too, but this one stuck out more.
Yep. Yeah, I like the. We were thinking Blood and Brew Brothers. We were thinking what was the one my wife said? It was something about email Nancy or something like that. I was like,
yes, it was email Nancy, because that's who you guys talked
I was like, what the hell does that mean?
Exactly. You guys were talking about you had to email something to her, and all of a sudden that's what she started saying, and then that's when we started. Okay, let's you're talking. I think it was something like something to do with talking, and
oh, she told me I was talking out of my ass or something.
Yeah,
I said, yeah, I'm talking a lot of shit.
He's talking a lot of shit, and, and that's when he wrote it down, and I was like, oh, that should be it.
Yeah. I mean, from a branding standpoint, YouTube's probably gonna love it because they've been demonetizing content creators lately for no reason at all. So, but they still haven't canceled me yet. So, yippee-ki-yay, motherfuckers.
That's a good thing.
I'm actually surprised that they haven't got you for the, how many fucks you're allowed to give.
What do you mean?
Well, on certain ones, well, yours is not set up for kids anyway, so it wouldn't matter.
No,
but you remember when we first started talking about me and you doing the podcast. You told me that we didn't want to swear as much and stuff like that. I gotta go.
Well, because YouTube will demonetize it. That's why a lot of the big name podcasters like Terrorizer, Wildcat, you don't hear them. They censor it. So then it's like YouTube doesn't lose their shit over stuff like that, because lately they've been really, really difficult with content creators. I mean, Nogla and Terrorizer, they usually do a reacts to memes and like TikTok videos. Well, that got demonetized and nothing was bad in it. And it's just like, now the biggest thing is Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy is now the big deal now.
Yes, but I don't want to talk about that.
Why?
Oh, it's stupid.
I'll explain that to you later.
Okay.
It's something to do. It's political.
Yeah. Oh, gotcha.
And we don't talk about that.
Yeah, we'll stay away from Steven. That. I'm good with that.
No, I'm just saying whatever reason it's about, it's stupid reason.
Yep.
Yeah, it is a stupid reason, but people like the game and it looks fun, but I won't play it.
No, I just won't be a content creator and play it if I ever did. Because now they have a website for these little trolls to go on there, type in a Twitch username and go bully those people. And it's just like, really, people, you have nothing better to do with your fucking time.
Nope.
No wonder why the world's such shit. But overall, what is the podcast going to be about? Like, topics? I know you're going to have guests on there.
So I think Mark, I don't think we really landed on a solid topic on any of it, really, other than we're just trying to open up this particular platform to just show our guest and let the guest be about themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
Let
want
them
to. I want to show. I want to show people off of people in Citrus County off to the world. I want to show that there's more to Citrus County than just meth or scum. I want to show, and that's why we have one of our guests. His name's Cody Struble. He's he's still in high school. He's a race car driver. He's a champion race car driver.
Yep.
And I think it's starting with him will help. It'll help him for one. Two, it'll show that look, we do have champions here. Instead of everybody thinking, like what Miles Teller being from Citrus County, and him talking about Citrus County and stuff. I want them to know it from our viewpoint because we have a different viewpoint than what Miles did or other stuff.
Yeah.
We got a lot of manatees that I'd like to talk about.
Yes. And we can take pictures of them and
Yeah, we'll just post them up here for everybody to see. We'll take them out to the wildlife park and show them
that's something. Yeah. But we also wanted to show people that it's not just TikTok. We're taking people off of TikTok also and bringing them into, some don't know this. Some know it, like Landon, one of who we have on Friday, we chose him to be our first guest because, well, he was just funny as hell when he had me cracking up laughing the whole time. So I wanted him, and I wanted to show the rest of some people that don't know who he is. And
he's fantastic, man. I mean, this guy, how old is this kid? I mean, he's
a
teenager
still. And he makes, I think he said he's over 20 something puppets that he has made. Oh, wait a minute. We're not allowed to call them puppets anymore. What are they called, Brian?
They're mannequin Americans.
It was one of his TikToks that he did, but it was funny. You would have laughed at it though, even though it was stupid on how they did it. But and some of the other ones, I want to show the world on other parts instead of just doing like what we had talked about. We started off in horror, but I want to go more than that. I want to show people who that don't know Peter Anthony. I want to show who he is. I want to just show the world a different side, but we're also going to have. We don't really want politics on there, but we are going to have a little bit of politics, but that's mainly because we want a certain sheriff on there. But I can't.
Yeah, the guy is fantastic too. He's very popular on TikTok. If we can get him, I think that's going to be super killer.
We'll have all of Hernando County on our watching at that point. But all in all, I just wanted to do something different than do something with Brian alone, and then coming up with some type of. As we go along, we're going to eventually figure out what we're going to do all together. A lot of podcasts have topics that they use, that they stick with, but with us, we're going to be a little bit here and there, a little bit all over the place.
And I think once we find a niche, our niche, I think that we'll be able to just build on that too. You know what I mean, Stephen?
Oh, definitely. That's all it is. Really, all podcasting is just, and you don't even really need to find your niche, just as long as you're delivering the content. Really.
Yeah.
I mean, if Joe Rogan can get away with some of the shit content he's made, then
Yeah, but the man, he's been doing it for years. It's great. He's great. He's really good at what he does.
Yeah.
He also has the money to be able to do some of this
That's
stuff
right.
to where
Well, that and the sponsors and all that too.
right.
I mean, he was
And-
big even before he started his own podcast, so that doesn't really hurt his chances either.
Right. And, he might have some heat on him for some of the stuff he says, but, I think he sometimes says stuff to, to get the heat, to make people listen to him.
Well, definitely. I mean, if you're in that part of the podcasting business, why not? But
listen, and that's the thing. Maybe we get to a point, Mark, where you're the good guy and I'm the bad guy, or I'm the good guy and you're the bad guy.
We both know that I'm the bad guy, you're the good guy.
Whatever.
Good luck, Brian.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I got to put up a mark. So
Yeah. So, do you have any other interests, Brian, like in sports? Anything? Do you watch football?
So I am a big fan of one NFL team and one NFL team only, and that's Pittsburgh Steelers.
There we go.
I am from Florida. I'm a Florida Gator fan, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I watch college football. I absolutely hate basketball. My wife hates it because of the noise that the basketball players make. She's like, if the noise would go away. Yeah, she's like, if the noise.
That's when you mute the damn thing.
Yeah, but then it's kind of like what kind of music do you put to that?
Just start putting rap to it, or
put the old
ballet dancing, or ballet.
Put the old Ringling Brothers or the Keystone Cops music to it.
Never been a fan of baseball, but hell, we got some great players that are around our area too. Guys that have been pro, guys that have been semi-pro.
One of them I'm trying to get on our podcast now. It's just, it's just going to take time.
Oh yeah.
Oh, definitely. You're going to find out that working on guests, you're going to get ones that answer right away, or you're going to get ones that kind of did what they would do to us, Mark, and cancel at the last second, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh no, now I can do it. It's like, well, I already got another guest lined up for tonight. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was one of the. Yeah, I remember that one. Actually, Gene was that one, wasn't he? He told us that he couldn't do it at a certain time, so we had to change the time. But he
didn't outright cancel on us, though.
Right. Well, we got it done though, which I was grateful for, because it was fun, dealing with him.
Yeah, one of the first guests I think we had on the podcast ended up having to do double duty because they were like, no, can't do it. So then we had Peter on, and then all of a sudden I get halfway through the one with Peter, Anthony, and then all of a sudden my phone's blowing up, and it's this other guest that's like, oh no, now I want to do it. It's like, oh Jesus Christ.
So what do you do at that point? Do you just drop them into the page?
No, then you just tell them, okay, well, I'm doing an episode right now.
Yeah.
I ended up doing double duty that night, but that episode didn't really air because I didn't like the guest anyway.
Oh.
They were kind of dick.
And that's the I think that's going to be some of the ups and downs for us too, Mark. I mean, even if we don't like the guest, I think we just air it,
Well, with it being live, yes, but at that time we weren't doing live ones that much.
Yeah, you guys were doing recorded and stuff, dude. I've watched a lot of your guys' stuff too, and I thought, I got kicked off of Facebook, by the way. You're welcome. You guys,
I was about to say
we should have never done it on Facebook.
Who was that? You guys had? Was it Peter Anthony that you guys had on?
No, Jason Brooks.
Yep, you had Jason Brooks. There was a comment section where he had said, everybody wants to be in a movie because they want to die. And all I said was, well, listen, if that's the case, let me in, and I just want to kill somebody.
Yeah.
It was taken out of context.
Facebook for you.
Oh, that's for the reason why we went off Facebook on that. We only promoted on Facebook after that.
Well, that wasn't the real reason why we got off there.
Well, that was one of the main.
Done it anyway.
Right. Oh yeah.
Because I mean, Facebook is nice, but yeah, they did take that comment out of, and then they were bitching at me to say, hey, you got
you got to tell your guest to tone it down.
Yeah, it's like it's my group. He didn't say he was gonna go out and kill people. He said if anything, if he was in a movie, he'd want to be the killer.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
I was so pissed off that I was just like, Mark's just like, well, what are you gonna do? And I'm like, well, they want me to ban them, but I said I don't see why.
And I apologize,
nothing wrong.
wholeheartedly for the comment.
You did nothing wrong. You
So
they took it out of context, just like
was
everything.
I was
people
really
take-
enjoying the podcast. I haven't even watched all of Roseblood yet, and it's something that I was wanting to get into as well. And just watching the podcast, I was like, oh my god, I got to see this now. You know what I mean? And it was like, okay, well, now I can't just watch that one. Now I got to watch the rest of it. Come on, thanks, Mark. Thanks, Steven. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
See, what I had to do is, Peter's going to be on the show on the 22nd.
Mhm.
And so I told him he has to watch Roseblood and he has to watch Vengeance 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go to the even further and say that you have to watch Fall of Camp Blood, but
Well,
I'll
that's
leave
if
it
you
at
have Slash and Cast on, which I gotta reach out to them again. Now that you guys are doing your own podcast, I've been trying to get better with scheduling guests, and lately it's been a lot of no's, but at the same point it's like, okay, well then I can do pre-recorded content. That's like, I told Mark, I was like, I'm probably going to do like 5 episodes at one night, just pre-record, and then space them out once me and my wife move out of where we're at right now, because
you can have a little bit of time because
Yeah.
I need a
Yeah.
fucking vacation.
So you asked me about me, Steven. How did you and Mark meet?
Friday the 13th, the game. I was actually part of the group first, and then I had a falling out with that group because the group decided they wanted to be all about drama and all that. Well, then I think I met Nacho. No, I met Nacho the same time I met Mark.
me and you came into that group about the same time.
Yeah. And
It was funny because one of the things we didn't really know each other at the time, but we
talked a lot of shit.
Yeah, we talked a lot of shit to each other, to everybody else. The funny part was, and I'll let you tell the story, but the 2 guns.
Oh my fucking god! So back before people bitched about it, you could literally, in private matches and in public matches, you could literally shoot another counselor as long as you had the shotgun. So me and Mark one time were just like, what if we shot each other at the same time in game in Friday the 13th, the game? Let's see what happens. So me and Mark were just sitting there, and a person that shall remain nameless, he was bitching at us saying, no, don't do it, go, we gotta escape. And Mark knows who I'm talking about, but we won't say his name. And anyway, so me and Mark go like, Mark, on 3, 1, 2, 3, both shot each other in the game, and I died first, and then like 5 seconds later, he's running and he just falls over dead. And I'm just like, okay, well, that's smart. So yeah, that was
we had a habit of pissing a lot of people off, especially the so-called
Like
they were
the
so-called
in-gamers?
leaders. And
Yeah.
no, these were the people that were that
they
everybody
called
listened to.
themselves the leaders of the group.
Yeah,
Oh, I gotcha.
and well, it was a male and female both, and we loved to piss them off the most. So we would do stuff just to piss them off, take the car, run people over. We used to take not only did we do it, but we had a friend do it too, would take the stuff and hide it in the shack. And this was before that they made it where everybody could see where the parts are after they've been picked up.
Oh, I remember when fucking Bates, if you're listening, fuck you. I remember when Bates fucking pissed the same person we were talking about off. He takes all the shit and puts it in Jason's cabin so that Jason now knows where it's at. So if anyone wants to get it, Jason already knows they're going to have to go in the shack.
And
So
then Jason
then you're
Jason
murdered.
also,
Then you're dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then Jason would trap his cabin or his shack, and it was freaking funny. But the first time I ever met Bates, well, that one was funny.
Oh my god, that fucker. Hey,
He
Mark,
took the gun.
come here, I'm gonna negan you.
Yeah, come here. I need to talk to you. Yeah, I want what's in your hand. No. Boom.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm dead.
Oh, I still
And
remember that time me and Steven, the other Steven in the group, we were chasing this person up the hill. And I was like, yeah, in game again, people, so that you don't cancel me. We're just chasing the person in the game, and he's just screaming like, "No, don't do it! Don't do it! I'll fucking block you guys! I'll fucking block you guys!" And we're just like, "Go ahead." So then, freaking Steven, the other one, shoots him in the game, and he's just like, "You mother!" And I mean, the message he sent me and Steven was just like, "Oh my fucking!"
He was
God,
super irate.
dude.
It's a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, on that game, you have a lot of people that are very irate when it comes to
They take
that.
it way too serious.
Yeah, and at that time, they started to do a tournament, and we were all for it at first, and then they started pushing it more and more and more. Finally, we just said, we're not doing this, because there's no way that you can actually do a tournament for that and make it fair when the first match that they did in the tournament didn't even make sense.
Yeah.
And we weren't happy with it, and then our group got smaller because of
People are leaving. They're going to go join a
well,
bigger group.
No,
Drama.
Drama.
The drama.
And then after that, it broke up again because of me, which I was happy about because, well, if you can't take the joke, well, then, oh well.
That was
I'll
a
tell
funny
you.
enough joke.
Yeah, I will tell you the joke later. I can't say that on here because I don't want him banned.
No.
Well,
but-
listen, that game is not the only game that people are freaking out about right now. I mean, guys, the Call of Duty video game right now, if you go and play Warzone, I don't know if are you still on Xbox, Steven?
Yeah.
Mark, you don't have it. You got to
no,
get it.
I got to get I don't have $70.
No, Warzone's free.
Oh, Warzone?
Yeah,
I can play Warzone.
Warzone's free. Download the
that-
game.
Well, that's not what you had the
I was trying to get you in there just so I could shoot you because I can't kill anybody.
Because you can't shoot your soon-to-be son-in-law?
Oh, no, he's really good at the game. He plays on this computer, okay? And he's got this Alienware computer. I'm sure he paid a bunch of money for it.
So he's
graphics
one of
better.
those. So he's one of those that's like
He's a great kid. And he's watching right now, so watch what you say.
Yes.
So
Just remember, Daddy always knows where the shotgun is, buddy.
shotguns.
There you go.
Shotguns.
That's like Alyssa said, she's like, would you ever be as hard on, if we ever had a daughter, would you ever be as hard on your son-in-law as the way her her parents are on me? And I'm like, no. I said, as long as the guy is a good guy and at least attempts to make something work out, I'm all for it. Yeah. But as soon as he breaks my daughter's heart or hurts her, then it's a different story.
Yeah. When Chloe first started dating, I actually brought out my gun. I sat it on the table, and Chloe says, "Put it away." I said, "No." She said, "Put it away." I said, "No." Guy comes through, looks at my gun, and says, "So, when we going shooting?" I said, "When you piss me off."
You're going to be the target. Mark's got two daughters. Well, I'm sorry. You have two that live with you. You have 3 daughters total. I have 2. I love both of mine to death. And you're absolutely right. As long as the guy is a guy and can treat my daughter right and not be a bum and have a job and, that kind of thing, then I think that I'm all good with that.
Yeah.
Why haven't you killed the one then?
We're on live and we can't talk about that.
Yes, please, guys, don't get me canceled.
We're not getting banned from YouTube, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I could care less if YouTube bans me.
Well, we don't want to get banned from StreamYard either, so.
Yeah. Buzzsprout, Spotify. I kind of need those.
We got to make sure that the deluxe edition network is still gonna stay behind us and help us out with everything too. You know what
Oh,
I mean?
yeah.
They
I-
will.
Us.
You gotta ask them.
Oh, yeah.
They're willing to help.
Oh, they've helped me out a lot with this.
Mhm.
That's great.
Still
I
got to
can't
figure
wait
out
for
how
them
to.
give my new intro though.
Yeah, you're supposed to be getting it soon, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm gonna pay Luna the rest of the money for after my birthday weekend, which is coming up this weekend.
Right. Yeah,
Well,
I think.
happy birthday before your birthday. So
Yeah, my fucking birthday is on Super Bowl Sunday this year, February 12th.
oh
Nice.
wow.
And my wife's like, "Well, do you want to go out that day?" And I'm like, "Fuck no."
Yeah, where are you gonna
No,
go?
that's-
Somewhere to watch the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, she wanted to go for my birthday celebration and all that. I'm like, why don't we just do it on the 11th? I'm like, then you don't have to deal with so many fucking angry drunks, and you're gonna
Oh,
get all
dude.
those people that
That's
take
like-
it so fucking serious. And
well, that's like
There's
going
a
out on
bunch of them.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
You know, we do it. We go out before Valentine's Day, so it works out better.
my people would hate me when I say this, but most of the time, what I do for my wife on Valentine's Day, I don't buy her anything, but I'll make a card, I'll make a poster for her, I'll make her anything. Because it's just like it should come from the heart, not from the wallet.
Oh yeah.
At least that's my way of looking at it. I know there's gonna be people in the
My
comments
wife-
later on
my
saying,
wife-
"Oh, he's cheap."
My wife is just happy if she doesn't have to cook.
Yeah,
So-
my wife
We-
don't cook; she just bakes.
Well, you're the one that cooks. She bakes.
Well, that's been how it's been. Like with my dad, Brian Jarvis, he cooked. My mom didn't know how to cook. Her thing of cooking was putting a fucking cardboard pizza in the oven, and that's
God,
kind
no.
of good.
God,
Yeah, I
no.
feel bad for whoever marries my kids.
And
They only know how to use the oven and the microwave. That's about it.
You better break the grill out and start getting them on the grill. Listen, my wife does it all, man. I mean, the
Oh, my
reason
wife does. Yeah.
I mean, Mark, you remember me in high school? What was I, 130 pounds soaking wet? I'm
If
like
that.
240 now because I get to eat really good. You know, I mean,
He also gets to test out his wife's new concoctions for the food
food truck.
trail. Yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
well, that's the thing, you know. I always get a kick out of it when people are like, "Oh, well, it's the husband's job. Oh, no, it's the wife's job." It's like it's a fucking team.
Yeah.
You're both a team, and if it's one person paying for everything, that's not a team. If it's one person doing something, that's not what marriage is.
no,
I know I'm
agree.
going to get a lot of flack for that one.
No, I mean, you gotta realize.
No,
I mean,
you're actually
your
telling me.
your wife is if you're out doing the regular job or whatever, she's got a job. Yes, you come together as a team.
Yeah.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. And you know, I get flack in my house too because my daughter, my wife, they both have the food truck. That's what they do.
Yeah.
I work from 8:30 in the morning until whenever the hell I get off work at 6:37, whatever. And my job's gotten a little bit more complex, you know, doing finance and stuff like that. But I'll still come home and I'll still try to help out where I can. So yes, I get fed
definitely.
well, but then I'm doing dishes or, you know, I got to go, you know, my wife did the laundry all day. Now I'm going to go hang up the stuff, you know, all that stuff. So I know it doesn't look like a lot. And I know my wife's probably going to say that I don't do a lot. Hopefully she doesn't say that. Hopefully she does see me for what I do actually do. So, but as far as the Valentine's Day thing goes, you know, whatever my wife wants, if she wants to go somewhere out to dinner or something like that, I'm in. Let's go.
Yeah.
If you don't have to cook and I don't have to try to attempt to cook and burn the house down, then we're good. Let's do that.
Yeah, we never. Hey, Peter.
Hey, Peter.
We never. On Valentine's Day, we never get each other gifts or anything like that. But we always go out a few days before Valentine's Day. That
Well,
way,
I
we
know
don't have to deal with we don't have to deal with, you know, a whole bunch of crowds and stuff like that, because my wife hates crowds, but yet she works at Walmart.
I know there was a big big deal with some people in my wife's family. They're like, well, are you gonna get your wife a gift? And I'm like, no. I said we're getting married, not fucking celebrating a birthday. I said, plus I already got her a birthday gift. It's sitting out in the fucking driveway right now. Nice old Hyundai Tucson.
It's only money. It's only money.
I had an ex-girlfriend whose birthday was on Valentine's Day, so it saved me. Hey, you gotta follow some of those people's. Oh my god, my brother, which he'll kill me for saying this. I love you, Keith, but my brother used to have a saying that, you know, if you don't want to get a girl a gift, break up with her between fucking Christmas
Jesus.
and Valentine's Day.
Yeah, but it's hard to break up with a wife, bro. You're not doing any of that.
Trust me, man. I know.
I actually had a girlfriend break up with me on Valentine's Day for a friend of ours.
Oh yeah. Oh, let's not go there. That's
Yeah.
Listen, you're in a better. Listen, Mark. You know that you're in a better place.
Oh I'll say it, and I'm not afraid to say it. My wife saved my fucking life. I mean,
yes, I agree.
Once I turned 21, I was boozing, whoring, and fucking everything in between, and burnt myself out pretty good after working a single job for 5 years. And of course, it was Walmart. And I finally just got sick and tired of it. And then also dealing with mental health issues on top of that, which some people understand, some people don't, you know, it is what it is. And if it wasn't for me meeting Alyssa, I wouldn't be here today.
How long have you guys been married?
We got married recently in September of this last year.
Good for you.
October, November, December, January.
Brand new newlyweds.
Yeah.
Having a bunch of sex. Making lots of babies.
We're trying on the baby front. It's kind of hard.
Don't try. The minute you stop trying, you're good.
I told him the exact same thing. I said, if you try, it's not fun.
Yeah.
If you're playing around, then it's fun, and it doesn't. You know. I
gotta ask Pete. And after I get off with you guys, I gotta ask Peter who that UFC guy was again. I want to get that guy on here. My brother would love that episode.
Yeah, he'll probably answer you in a minute.
Yeah, it was someone that Peter Anthony knows that did like UFC during back when Ken Shamrock and all that was in it before Shamrock went off to WWE and all that shit. And it's just like, oh fuck, my brother loves MMA. Like for Christmas, he didn't know I was gonna buy him an MMA. I think I bought him a shirt or a hat or something. And my dad called me up the next day. He's like, boy, your brother loves that fucking hat. He said, you know, I've never seen him wear another hat as much as he wears that UFC MMA hat. And it's like,
yeah, that's badass.
And of course, you know, my dad's like, well, now we got to get you gifts. I'm like, Dad, no. I said, I don't want anything. I said, that's not what Christmas is to me. It just felt like getting a gift for my dad, which I got him a Golden Gophers tumbler for his coffee and all that.
It was nice. Yeah, it was nice. I like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm very, very happy that my dad is still around. You know, it was very hard when he was dealing with his alcoholism, and then when he had his seizures, and you know, that come to moment where it's kind of like, you know what, maybe I need to stop doing what I'm doing and start living my life the right way. And I'm very thankful to God and all that for my dad still being here, because I know as soon as, and I've told Mark this, and I've told my wife, I'm like, the first person that's ever going to know other than me and her that we're pregnant one day is going to be my dad.
Cool.
So and I can tell him, hey, Dad, you're going to have grandbabies. And where I'm going to take out my wallet and I'm going to hand my dad the picture or sonogram or whatever the fuck you want to call it of the ultrasound and all that, and hand it to him and be like, no, I just want to tell you, Dad, you're going to be a grandfather.
That's a cool
He's
way
gonna
to
have-
do that. That's a cool way to do
He's
that.
gonna have some red-headed babies.
Not necessarily.
It's gonna be interesting seeing what your guys' babies look like.
I know one thing, I'll probably not have him on the podcast.
I hope that they don't look like you though. I really don't.
Oh, come on.
Well, they'll get
on.
Alyssa's look.
He knows I'm playing with him.
They'll get Alyssa's looks and smarts. They'll just get, if they ever play sports, God save my wife. I always tell her, I'm like, you should be glad you never watched me play sports, because it was during I graduated in 2011, the year before they did the whole concussion thing and school sports and all that shit. So
We didn't
I got
have
my
any of that
fair share.
growing up.
no,
Yeah, we didn't. Nope. Mm-mm.
and it's just like, I told Mark one time, I'm like, oh yeah, they couldn't have done it when I was still in school, because I didn't care. I mean, I was to that point where there was some personal shit in my life that I didn't care. I mean, I told my best friend Bryant one time, I'm like, I'm surprised I didn't die on the football field, because it's just, I had that reckless abandonment. It's like my ankle one time was so bad that I'm just like, tape that fucker up. Well, we can't, Steven. I'm like, tape it up.
Yeah.
And I hobbled my ass back on there, and I hope my kids are smarter than that.
Mark, Todd Lear. You remember Todd?
Yeah.
That's who Steven reminds me of. Went to school with Todd. I played football with Todd. The reason I started playing football was because Todd said, hey, Brian, I'm trying out for wide receiver. And I said, okay. He goes, would you want to do it with me? And I was like, yeah, let's go. And I loved it. I loved the sport. I loved the game. I really did. I jammed my middle finger during a practice. I blew out my knee during a practice. What else did I do? During practice, dude, like I didn't really get hurt in a game.
Yeah.
Blew out stuff during practice. Retarded.
Well, that's the thing, it's funny how shit like that happens.
Yeah.
And like me and Mark, when we had Brett, that was a very good interview with Brett, that talking football and all that. And I told Mark, I was like, why don't you bring Brian on? I mean, fuck, maybe he wants to talk football.
Oh, I would, but listen, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to have to do a whole lot of research because I follow the Steelers. That's it.
Yeah.
I really don't, and they let me down. With I think Ben had to retire a long time ago, and we needed a backup. We needed somebody for him to train, and we just didn't get that. And now all of a sudden, we're getting Kenny Pickett, who has teeny tiny baby hands. But the man can send a ball down the field. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I just feel like we should have had more. So,
and
then we still go around and we're going to get rid of people like Chase Claypool, and we're going to get rid of,
you're getting rid of people that are not happy with the franchise.
And it's absolutely ridiculous, I think. But
well, at least you don't have to deal with Kirk Cousins. Yeah, I'm a Vikings fan, by the way.
He's a big Vikings fan. He could tell you the history of the Vikings, the Twins.
That's good.
He's very good. He's very good on knowing Minnesota very well.
Just go listen to episodes.
Are you guys still in Minnesota as we speak? Is that where you're at?
Yeah. Okay. We moved. Well, I moved a lot of places. And like I always tell people, it's like, if you want to get to know me, just ask a question. I can either say, no, I'm not going to answer it, or yeah, sure, I'll answer it. I mean, I'm
99.5%, 99.9% of the time, he'll tell you everything.
Mm-hmm.
Right on.
I mean,
if you like the answer, the answer or not. I mean, he's very.
I've gotten to the point where people have fucked me over enough times that's like, you know what? And there's people in my life that have done that recently to me. I mean, fucking 6 years I've had to prove that I love my wife and had to go through fucking hell just
The
to
only
show
person-
people.
And I always told you what, the only person that you have to show that you love your wife is your wife and you. That's
Oh
it.
yeah,
Fuck
definitely.
the rest.
And that's I told my wife, I'm like, you know what? I'm done with the fucking disrespect. I said I showed those people respect when they were disrespecting me. When they said I was a bum, I had jobs. I've worked in my life. Granted, right now I'm kind of in between trying to figure my life out and trying to get my mental health under control before, I end up one of those people that you hear on the fucking news.
Don't do it.
I won't.
Don't do it. Not worth
I
it.
won't.
Not worth it.
That's why
You know,
we always promote. That's why we always promote
Yeah.
988.
Yeah.
And just know people out there that are struggling, good times are going to come. You got to work at it. Trust me. I've been dealing with this shit since I was a freshman in high school, and there was dark days. I'll admit that. But you know what?
you're
Like,
probably dealing with it way before then, but just didn't know what you were looking for, and knowing exactly.
Yeah.
So Minnesota, you're up there in Minnesota. How far are you from Medina, Minnesota?
Edina.
Medina. That's where that. So I sell Polaris side by side. So
I think
Medina,
about
Minnesota is where they come out of.
Hour, maybe hour, 2 hour tops.
So
I actually, well, I don't live in the town of Lindstrom, but I grew up pretty much where I'm at now.
Okay.
And me and my wife, we wanted to get out of Minnesota, and we moved up to Wisconsin. That lasted for about almost 2 years, but we ended up leaving because it wasn't the right fit for us, and we made a mistake with the place that we had got, but thankfully we were able to get out of it, and it was a rent to own, and so thank God we were able to get out of it.
you remember the place, Brian? The place when you first got out of the Navy the first time. That
I was in Virginia.
No. Oh well.
Oh, you're talking about house. Yeah.
When you came back to Florida and you guys couldn't figure out what was going to go on,
we bought.
Do you remember that?
We were buying a place over off of Highland.
Right. Remember that place? What it looked like?
Yeah.
That shithole.
Yep.
That's what his place looked like.
Our place was almost falling in. We were the only people, and it was a 1995 trailer that we had bought, or didn't buy, but we put money down.
You were going to buy it. Ours was a conversion camper. Okay, and when I say conversion camper, like it literally had a teeny tiny bedroom.
Yep.
It had a bathroom where you could sit on the toilet, wash your feet and your hands at the same time.
Yeah.
Literally, that's our bathroom. And it was an add-on, and my aunt had bought it sight unseen, my great aunt. Mm-hmm. And then my grandmother said, "Hey, if you're moving back to Florida, we want you to be close. Would you go in and fix it up and this and that? We won't charge any rent. We won't charge any rent to begin with, and then we'll rent to own it." And I said, "Yeah, sure, no problem." And it was, we went in, we put in AC. There was no AC at the time. It was plywood floors. So we went and bought sticky tile. We didn't know how to do any of that stuff. So we had to buy all new furniture. Most of it was hand-me-down stuff. I think I reached out to a bunch of friends and I was like, "Hey, if you got a couch or something." I think the only things we bought new were the baby's, my daughter's crib mattress, pillows, bedding, that kind of stuff. Our bed, I think we bought brand new. But other than that, man, everything else it was rough, man. Getting out of the military the first time and not having a nest egg or anything and trying to make something work. So I understand. I totally get it. I do.
Oh, fuck. When my dad... Go ahead, Mark.
He was only out of the military for about, 2-3 months? Something around there before he went back in, because my wife was still pregnant at the time when he went back in. I figured he was going to wait a little while longer before the baby was born, and then he was like, "No, I can't live with the crap that they."
Well, the promise of a job, a career that was going to lead me down this beautiful path, and everybody was like, "Oh, dude, go to Proline, go build boats at Proline," and they put me in Proline. I got a great job there. I think I was making $7.75 an hour. I think that was like top. Top
Hey,
in.
ladies and gentlemen, that was actually a lot back then.
Yeah. Believe it or
But
not,
that was
before-
early 90s, right? Late
Yeah.
90s. Yeah.
Late 90s.
Yeah.
Because Chloe
Yeah.
was born in 2000.
People, believe it or not, we actually worked for less than $15 an hour minimum wage.
And we were happy about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't bitch about it or cry about it by flipping burgers and saying we deserve this. No, we proved that we deserved our money because we worked our ass off for it.
Yeah, being in the military, you don't work a 12-hour day or an 8-hour day. You're actually working 24 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
I tell back when I was in, I was telling people like, man, we get paid less than a quarter an hour,
Mm-hmm.
but we have free room and board for us.
Yes.
We have free medical, free dental, free free healthcare and stuff like that. And we're doing something good for our country and our family.
Yeah.
We're providing. So for anybody that is watching, that is thinking about going in the military, I wholeheartedly support you doing that. Just look at if you want to make it a career or not before you make that jump,
Yeah.
before you go in. Because like me, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was willy-nilly here and there, and I know what I wanted to do and what I should have done, and neither one of those kind of came together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not too long after, I think it was before Chloe was born, my mother-in-law was talking with me, and I told her I was thinking about going in the military since you went that route the second time. I said, well, I might do that. My boss talked me out of it because he said, well, there's a job opening for the assistant manager. I want you to take it. And shortly after that, I got the position. But then my wife was in the car accident, and then, everything went to hell then.
Yeah. Luckily, I haven't had that problem yet, but I always... My wife makes more money than me, which don't really...
Don't let it hurt
don't
your
bother me.
feelings.
No,
Don't let it hurt
it
your
don't
feelings.
bother
Be
me.
proud, dude. I'm like, I want
wife,
my wife and my daughter to outdo me.
My wife is runs her own part of Marketplace Foods in St. Croix Falls, Wisconsin. Totally 100% proud of her. I support the hell out of her. And I told her, I'm like, you know what? And of course, she's like, this isn't what I want to do. And I was like, okay, what do you want to do? And she's like, well, people. And I said, no, what do you want to do? Fuck what family says and all that shit. Do what you want to do, because if you're not fucking happy, yeah, that paycheck is nice, but if you're not fucking happy doing what you're doing, that sucks.
Yep.
I
think my wife did. I think my wife did 5 or 6 years with Walmart, and
Yeah.
she was tired all the time, and we never, we were two ships passing in the
Yep.
dark, man, and that's not fair to either one of us,
No.
Your wife was all over the place at Walmart too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember the day that she handed in her 2 weeks. Karen was like, man, she felt bad for doing it. And my wife was like, you know what? I was glad she did it so she could go and follow her dream.
Yeah. Alyssa, she dreams of opening up her own photography business, photographing weddings and baby showers and all that shit. And I said, do it. And she's like, well, what if it doesn't work? I said, how do you know?
How do you know if you don't try?
I told Alyssa, I said, you know what? People may not like this, but I said, you know what? I've failed a lot in my life because I had people tell me what to do. And me being the obedient little servant, I did it. And like I told Alyssa, I said, the reason why I could never figure out what I want to do is because people told me I couldn't do it. And I said, my podcast, even though it pisses off a lot of people, it's something I love doing. I've done it for 3, almost 4 years now. And you know what? If it makes money or doesn't make money, which I'm not all about that. If it does, it does. I love giving information and having friends on and talking shit. You know,
Hey,
I know. See,
I love it. I love it.
shameless plug in there.
I love it. Yes.
And I know a lot of people told my wife that I wasn't gonna amount to anything, but you know what? I'm doing something. If it fails, at least I can look at myself and be like, you know what? I did it on my own terms.
And that
I'm
was the
still.
thing. That was the thing with this podcast with Mark. Like I told my wife, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And
Yep.
Mark said, I can help you with that. That's the easy part. And my son-in-law is the same way. He's like, oh, I can help you with it too.
I mean,
So,
fuck,
It's
I wish
easy.
I knew
You
how
know
to.
how to talk. You know how to talk. That's the easiest
Well,
thing to do.
it's more than that.
Right, but that's the first thing. You can't be shy. If you're shy on here, you're not going to get anywhere.
No,
And
fuck
and two,
Alyssa
and
was
two,
actually my first co-host on
right.
here before Mark was, but once Alyssa was like, you know what, I want to step back. She's like, I'll come back on every now and then, but she's like, I want to step back. So someone asked me,
Excellent.
they're like, so do you own the business or who owns the business? I'm like, well, my wife's the owner. I just pimp myself out to whoever wants to hear me talk, I mean,
And
when Kyle, who is the host of Return of the Living Flat, asked us to be on his show, I mean, that was a big honor for me. And I even told Kyle, I'm like, you don't know how much that meant to me. I said,
yeah.
no one had ever done that for me before. And then, of course, with the network, him and Peter and a bunch of other people went to bat for the podcast. And it's just like, you can even ask Mark. I was choking up about it. I was like, and of course, Mark's like, we got to do it. And I'm like, but is this the right thing to do? And me not knowing how networks worked, I was like, am I still going to have my creative freedom? And
he
the
fought me tooth
network
and
said,
nail.
yep, you have your creative freedom. We want you a part of the network. And I said, Mark, tell him, yeah.
He fought me tooth and nail over it until I pointed everything out that he kept asking, and finally he said, yeah. And
Well,
since when did you were you an obedient person? I've never known you to be one.
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
I'll just say my wedding was the one thing that someone found out that I wasn't going to take shit anymore.
Well,
my goodness.
He doesn't get along with his mother-in-law at all.
Well, it's not that I don't. It's just that she's done everything in her power to ruin me and my wife's relationship.
That is true, but that's.
But you know what?
Different.
I'll still show respect, but you know what? I'll never forgive. And I'll never forget. I've been fucked over enough in my lifetime that it's like, you know what? Hate me or not, you can't ever say I've ever hit my wife. I've never told my wife to move out. I've never thrown her shit out in the yard and say, go back home.
Wait a minute. You guys have been married now for how long?
4 months.
Don't worry, that year comes next year. I'm kidding. I'm absolutely kidding.
I know.
There is an opportunity. There is a point though where, and I don't know how many years of marriage it takes before you do get to a point where you're just like, just go somewhere. You know what I mean? Like my wife tells me, she's like, you got to stop, go somewhere, walk away. Or, I do the same thing. I'm just like, oh, I'm so fed up.
Most marriages, an average marriage now is 8 years long.
And if you make it past 8, you're doing really good.
Yeah. I'll have that fucking beat.
Yeah.
Because I know the one thing I love about my wife is that she's never pushed me to do what other people have told me to do. Just like with this podcast, there was so many people, and I told Mark this, I said, there is so many people telling me, why, you're not going to get paid for it right away. What if you don't make any money? What if you have a kid on the way? It's just like, and Alyssa's like, you know what? We'll find a way.
I mean, if this is what you enjoy doing, then you got to follow what you enjoy doing.
I enjoy this more than fucking punching a clock, time card. Yeah. I did those jobs too. I worked factories at 30, almost 30 years old. I can safely say I've probably done it all. But the thing is, I didn't enjoy it. And people can shit on me for that. But you know what? I'm enjoying what I do now. Granted, I wish I could learn how to edit a little bit so then acts more professional, and you don't have to hear me moan and groan all the fucking time, but it is what it is. And people still watch this shit. I told Mark, I said, that's what surprised me, is that people wanted to hear me talk. And it's just like, it's like, okay. And I love the people that do support me. I honestly do. And, you know, it means a lot to me. It shows the people that thought I wasn't going to make it that, you know what, there's a big shit sandwich for you.
Yeah.
And you
And just
guys will too. It just
and,
takes time.
and that's what I told Mark too. I mean, Mark's telling me like, oh yeah, you know, let's go ahead and he scheduled a whole month out, and I'm like, whoa, hold on. Are we even going to make it past the first podcast? Are we going to have one? And
I
it's
told
going
him,
to be,
yeah.
you know, so I was
I mean,
nervous about that. I didn't think that we should book anything until we
Well,
were.
yeah. In reality, you probably shouldn't have. You should probably have gotten a few pre-recorded episodes and all that, or have people that you know really well be on the show before you start pimping yourself out. But Mark wanted to do that, and it burnout is real. I've told Mark that a lot, but you know what? You got to know when to say enough's enough too.
After the first month, you know, after February's over, that's when I'll cut back some, you know, where we won't have, you know, as many, but we will have so many live per month also.
Because like I told Mark, I was like, if you think you're gonna be able to do 2 podcasts, I said you're gonna burn your ass out. And he's always telling me, no, I'm not. And I'm like, dude, trust me.
I think
You will.
Mark's biggest thing is Mark wants to not be at home by himself, not doing anything. Am I right?
Some days.
I
Well,
mean,
I'm
and he does, and he knows a lot of stuff about. I mean, look at the pop characters behind him, right?
yeah,
Look
the
at
Funko Pops, yeah.
exactly. I mean, look at the horror books that he has. Look at the
And
wrestling.
that's the thing. I've always told him. I said, Mark, you know what to talk about. Just
Yeah.
go out and do it. You don't
Yeah.
always need guests. I mean,
Well,
fuck.
that's true. Well, that's what we were just talking about before we came on here on some of the stuff that we could do that's pre-recorded. That way we can, you know, still have certain things done.
Yep.
And, you know, we got some stuff in the works, but, you know, that's still in due time. We'll figure out
definitely.
that.
I mean, just know that there's times where you're gonna have that blockage, and it's okay to just walk away for a little bit. I
Well,
mean,
the
fuck, I
blockage,
held on to. I
that's why I
held
want
on.
to.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm
I held
interrupting
on
you.
to so much baggage and just shit that by the time me and my wife got done with the wedding and went on our honeymoon, I'm like, I'm getting rid of all of it. I said, all that negative shit that's been building inside, I said, once we went on our honeymoon, I said, done. And that was a hell of a vacation. I didn't want to come back. I told Alyssa, I'm like, if to fuck, I'd rather stay up in Duluth. I didn't want to come back.
Well, that was like my vacation in Tennessee. I didn't want to come back. I was having too much fun. But, you know, my kids were here, so I had to come back.
Mark's already ready to get out of Florida. I think it's too hot for him. It rains too much, or
I
not
hate
enough.
Florida. Hey, I've always hated Florida. Ever since I got here, I've had nothing but bullshit.
Hey, how about this? You could go live up in Minnesota, and then Steven can come and live down here in Florida. You guys
My
just switch
wife
places.
started, no.
Not
My
a
wife
chance.
already said no. And plus, no, that wouldn't go over well with the in-laws. But like I always say, it's like we're fucking adults. You know,
Yeah.
let us be adults.
Hey, everybody else has got to leave Florida. It's my turn. Oh, excuse
No,
me.
I've been all over the place, and I want to tell you, if you always come back to where you're from, or if you always come back to where you love, that's all that counts, man. And
Oh, then
I
I'm
may
not coming
not.
back to Citrus County.
I mean, listen, Circus County's fun and all, but you know, there's other things here in Florida that you know will benefit other people that want to come into Florida. We if you look at Florida, we have the most transplanted people right now. Anyway, I'm
That's
originally
just-
from here. I was born
Yep.
born in Shands Hospital
I was
in the swamp.
I was transplanted. I'm
You're
what
a
they
transplant.
call
Exactly.
I'm what they call what was the one? A fucking
over.
Yankee.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because Michigan was part of the Union. But see, that's the thing. I grew up in Chisago County. I grew up in Lindstrom, and when my dad lost his place, I there was people that were like, "Oh, hey, we'll," and this is just at the time I'm meeting my now wife, but it was pretty interesting hopping from couch to couch because people wouldn't take no for an answer. They knew that I wasn't gonna stay there very long. I fucking left every night, and they're like, "You could stay here as long as you want." It's like, no. I said I had to feel what it was like to live that shit.
I just got a message that we're not live anymore.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, somebody lost the feed.
No.
Tell your wife to quit messing with stuff.
That's exactly who it was. I guess I'll message her and say, "What are you messing with? What did you turn it back on?"
Yeah, just tell her to refresh, and then it'll probably because I can watch the.
What did you
Yeah, we're still live
Yeah, it says it up there in the corner.
because I just turned on the fucking YouTube right now. I'm listening to myself. Well, not listening, but looking at myself fucking talk. Ugh, God, that is the worst thing. Like I told Mark, I was like, that's one thing I hate is going back and like listening to myself because it's just like, oh, good God, dude.
Nobody likes their voice.
That's me, and I don't like my voice. You're absolutely right. I hate my voice on here.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I sound like this. After I play it back, I'm like, that is definitely not me.
Yeah.
My wife's telling me, like, well, you should have been in radio. Why? Because I'm ugly?
my wife is the same way. I've told her, I'm like, anytime you want to come back on the podcast, I could use you. But she does. She will every
special
once in a while.
guest, baby.
She did it for Christmas.
Yeah, she was back on for the Christmas one. She was really happy, excited for that one.
Very cool.
And well, she loves Christmas movies. And now supposedly there's going to be there's supposed to be a sequel to the Jim Carrey Grinch movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah, my wife is really into the Grinch. She's really into The Nightmare Before Christmas. Yeah, you listen. It's November and she's already watching Christmas movies and I'm like, "Lady, can we get through freaking Thanksgiving?" I mean, come on.
I made the mistake.
She's worse than Walmart.
I made the mistake of telling my wife that Hallmark had now shown up on Peacock, and she's like, "We have Peacock streaming service, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah," and she's like, "Huh." So she goes on there. Fucking, that's all she watched. That's all she watched. And Mark is sitting there while we're doing episodes. He's like, "You're shaking your." She's watching Hallmark, isn't she? I'm like, "Fuck yeah."
Oh, my wife just said, I watch Beetlejuice all of the time. It doesn't matter what day of the week it is. I'm watching it.
We're supposedly getting a Beetlejuice too now.
Yeah, I heard that too.
That's still in development. But before we get off here, Brian, I want you to do something. I want you to
oh God.
I want you to do what you did the other day. Let's see if you can screw it up.
What is that?
Promote. When is our when, where, why, stuff like that.
You want me to
fucking promoted it.
So you want me to do the commercial all over again, basically?
Yep, I want to see all the. You should see.
All right, here we go.
So wait a minute, wait, Steven, just so you know, the gist behind this, why he wants me to do this is because I sent him in Messenger all of my flubs, and he loves them. He's laughing his ass off.
It was funny. It was. It really was. But I mean, we might as well do it. A plug here, anyways.
I'll give her hell if you'll allow it. I'm gonna give her one good shot.
Yep,
just one good shot.
Go ahead.
All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Brian, and I host. Nope. See? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Brian, and I am half of a new podcast called Talking Shttt. That's Talking SHTTT. And we're going to be coming live to you this Friday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with our very first guest, Mr. Landon Harvey. If you don't know who this young man is, go check him out. on his TikTok at Landon Venting. Check him out, and then come and check us out over on YouTube. Look forward to seeing you.
And if you didn't like him doing it, I'll give a shameless plug. Go watch their shit. That's Talking Shttt. It's gonna be on YouTube. Also, if you haven't yet, go subscribe to their channel. Go to Facebook, which I'm sure they'll have links for every video of what their social media presence is and all that shit. Go follow it all. They're great guys. Mark used to be a co-host on this. Now he's doing his own thing, talking shit, as we say. And he's got Brian helping him out too. So let's see what it is. And you know what? If you guys don't like it, then you'll have to deal with me. Because you know what? I'll be the biggest fucking cheerleader. And if Mark doesn't like that, tough fucking shit. And that's February 10th.
Hey, we did have a quick discussion right before we came on, and I did tell him that maybe we could do something with you and maybe one other person and try to have like some kind of event later on in the future where we just have talk about wrestling or talk about a top.
We're
10
gonna do
like that.
You remember
Stealing
what you
ideas, huh, Mark? Stealing ideas.
Well, no, I am stealing part of your idea. I want to do that, but you know how you want to do horror movies or action movies of that
I
decade,
want to do a trilogy.
right?
So let's do that. You do that. I want to do that, and we'll come over.
I want to do that, but for wrestling on how we talked about it. So one of them I'm going to do. You're going to be part of it.
Well, yeah.
And I've even talked that over with you too, but that's what I want to do because I think that would be cool. Just to have somebody, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and like go with 2000s up after that. We're not going to talk about 2010. We'll just go with 2000s up and see how many times people still reference the same people over.
Oh, it's definitely going to be me. I'm terrible at this game.
That's why you write it down.
Yeah, I gotta have Kyle help me because the way I want to do this trilogy is okay. So I got the first episode. I got Thomas and Kyle. I need one more, and then I'm gonna have you guys on the second episode. I tried to get Casey to be on the first one, but he's really busy right now, so it's kind of hard to do it. And then
just let me know ahead of time because I got to do a ton of research.
Yeah, I will. Okay. I will. And
He always lets you know.
This ain't gonna happen until we're out of here and I have better internet. So it's gonna be probably a couple months. And I'm not gonna do it all at once. I'm gonna do the first episode and then other things and then come back with the second one. That's the one thing about that I'm sure Mark told you about me. I can have 5 ideas and each one of them sounds like shit. So then I just throw it at a dartboard or pre-record it, and if I like it, then I'll put it on Buzzsprout and then put it on the channel. But if I don't,
it goes away.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to think about the energy that you put into it. Even though it's just like the commercials that I was trying to do to promote this Friday, for the podcast. I'm deleting a lot of them off my phone, but I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to probably keep them on the computer somewhere in a file and just look back and be like, oh my God, this shit was fucking hysterical.
Oh, he has no idea what I'm going to do with them.
Go the fuck away, Mark.
Yeah, we're going to get Mark right now because this is getting weird.
Later on, I'm going to put them on our Facebook and show them as bloopers.
That would be good. Get you a good following. Yeah, I mean, fuck, why not put it on YouTube as shorts?
We could do that too.
That with him.
Yeah.
He is the shortest one, so we've got to do that with shorts.
Yeah, it's kind of scary that I'm taller than Mark. Not by much though.
But my son's taller than me.
Oh yeah,
I'm taller than my dad, which didn't take much.
My dad's starting to grow in the other direction now, so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's starting to lean a little bit. I'm like, oh, what the hell, dude? Yeah. I hope I don't get to that point.
My dad's got arthritis really bad in his pinky to the point where he can't even really lift it up anymore. So they're probably gonna have to cut the tendon and straighten it back out.
Listen, I'm going to tell you something about this arthritis. My wife has RA. So I'm going to probably promote some of that stuff too on the podcast, as well as, the groups for those folks. I have to give her a shot once a week. And, without having that medication for her, I think that it would just be terrifying for her and for me.
Oh, definitely.
I don't know what I would do with a wife that's, in a position like that, and here I am. So,
yeah. Oh, just always listen to the old Craig Morgan song, Tough. I listened to that one day, and it's like, when he says there was a time before she was mine where I thought I was tough, it's like, yeah. And then my wife's tougher than I am. I mean,
oh yeah, my wife's way tougher than me.
Oh yeah.
When my dad was in the hospital that time, she's a lot smarter than me. So when they're telling me something, it's like I'm over in the corner, almost hysterical, going like, "Is my dad gonna make it? Is this the am I ever gonna see my dad again?" And it was very stressful for her, but I couldn't have done it without her.
My wife took care of my mom's getting her set up in the hospice and everything like that, before we lost my mom. So my wife is
awesome.
Over here. The one that we had over here was fantastic, dude. They took really good care of my mom for the time that she was there.
In the Canto.
But my wife, oh yeah, the one right there by the eye place.
Yeah,
they were super good. That's the one I think my wife picked that for my mom.
That's the one that they had for Mo's mom. It's one we put her in.
Yeah. It's a nice place, a nice facility.
Oh yeah.
But
my mother-in-law was at the other one.
It's good to have these strong women behind us. That's the big thing. That's what I'm going to tell you. So if your wife is strong enough to stand behind you during the podcast, whether it makes money or it doesn't make money, same thing here. I mean, mine cusses me out because it takes me so long to get home from work sometimes. But
hey, this was her idea too. So
she supports the whole thing. So,
yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So everyone, I hate to do this, but we're going to be wrapping this up, as Dandy Don Meredith and the great Willie Nelson once said, turn out the lights, the party's over. But I want you guys to do one thing for me, please. I love it and thank you for the support on my podcast, but could you on February 10th at 8:30 Eastern Time, 7:30 Central, go check out Talking Shttt with Mark Bensett Jr. and Brian. They're gonna make you laugh. They're gonna make you cry. Hell, who knows? They might make you angry. But you know what? As long as you watch it, you subscribe and you like and you comment on it, at least you're doing your part. But you know what? Show them a lot of love. Show everyone in the Deluxe Edition Network a lot of love, including the podcasts a month, which, let me look this up, Spoil My Movie and World's True Crime. Their World's True Crime. I shouted out you again. So, as me, my guests, Brian, Mark, I'm Steven Jarvis, and we'll see you all later.
See you later.
Thank you.